Hey guys, today I wanted to talk about something that has been absolutely crucial to my small business success, and that is creating multiple income streams. When I first started my business, I was only focused on one platform. However, over the last 2 years, I've now expanded to sell on multiple platforms. So I have Etsy, wholesale, I have a Shopify website, and I also have a subscription that brings in predictable revenue every month. In this video, I'll break down how these different income streams work together, why diversification matters, and how you can start building your own multiple income streams even though you're already busy running your own small business. So let's talk about why multiple income streams matter for a small business. The first reason is simply risk mitigation. When one platform changes its policies or algorithm, you won't lose all of your income overnight. So say if you only sell on Etsy and they decide to change some thing about their algorithm, then all of your products that used to be bestsellers are now not bestsellers. They used to be at the front page and now they're all the way at the back and customers aren't seeing that. Well, that's okay because you're not losing all of your income. You still have income coming from other places, right? And so while you're trying to scramble to figure out how to adjust to the new algorithm or the policies, you still have money coming in from somewhere else. So it's not as big of a deal when sales are lower on one platform than they are another because you still have money coming in. The next reason it's good to have different income streams as a small business is seasonal stability. So different income streams often have different peak seasons of when they are bringing in more revenue than other times, right? They kind of help smooth out your income throughout the year. So for example, I sell stickers, mostly like book themed stickers, right? And those sell really well like in the August area, when you're going back to school because kids can buy them for their teachers or parents buy them for their kids' teachers as gifts. They also sell really well more like in May, where people are giving their teachers like end of the year school gifts. But in those summer months where people aren't really going to school or aren't shopping online as much, my revenue isn't always as high as I would like it during those summer months. But that's where I have a subscription and that comes in. So I can count on my subscription still bringing in that steady income, even though my Etsy and my website aren't bringing in as much income at the time. So our third reason is cash flow management. So speaking of subscriptions really helps with cash flow management. So some streams of income, like my subscriptions, provide predictable revenue that I can pretty much count on. This month, I'm gonna get around the same amount of money at this time. So some streams, like subscriptions, provide predictable revenue for planning, while other streams just maybe give more of a lump sum. So for my subscriptions, I know that I can count on at least around this amount of money every month, right? Because those people, my customers, have committed to purchasing these items for me in advance. And now some people might come and go, but on average, I'm going to have a set amount of money coming into my bank account every month. Whereas other opportunities like wholesale aren't quite as steady, but when I do get a wholesale order in, they are a huge lump sum. But it's kind of nice to have both. So it's nice to have the subscription so I know that I'm having money coming in every month, but it's also really nice to have the wholesale because bringing in those lump sums are pretty nice too. So the next reason that having multiple incomes is important is just for your own psychological benefit. I know personally I have so much less anxiety now that I know that if something happened to Etsy, say, then my business is still going to run. Or if for some reason I couldn't keep my Shopify website going, I'm still going to be okay because I have money coming in from other platforms. And because I don't depend on any single source of income, the anxiety and stress of where's my next dollar going to come from, it's still there. It's still always probably going to be there a little bit as a small business owner, but it is way less than it used to be. Because I know there's always going to be money coming in from somewhere at some point. And that really helps keep my stress levels and my anxiety down as a small business owner. So let's break down my different revenue streams. Starting with my Etsy shop. Etsy brings in about 70% of my income. With that being said, my goal is to get Etsy to be one of my lower percentages of my income just because they do take quite a hefty fee out when you sell your products. And it has been really helpful for me so far to grow my business and get to where I'm at. But in the future, Etsy is my least priority. So I would like to get other things like my website and my wholesale platform up above Etsy. But as of now, Etsy does bring in about 70% of my income. My next revenue stream is wholesale. So I sell on a wholesale platform called Faire, and that brings in about 25% of my income. Now, selling wholesale is one of my biggest goals, so growing my wholesale platform is huge for me in 2025. I'm currently stocked in about 150 stores around the country and also 2 stores in Australia, which is super cool, and I love saying that. But my goal for the end of 2025 is to have my wholesale platform as my biggest form of revenue. My next income stream is my Shopify store, and that is my own personal website, scrappystitcher.com, and that brings in only about 6% of my income. And then last, but definitely not least, is my subscriptions. So I have a monthly bookmark and sticker club that customers can sign up for and receive monthly, like I said, and that brings in about 4% of my income. So my subscriptions don't bring in quite as much as I would like yet, but they are relatively new. I just started them a few months ago. So my two main goals for 2025 for my income streams are to get my wholesale up to the top. I would really like to grow my wholesale and get in at least 200 stores by the end of the year. I think that would be really cool. And then also to grow my subscriptions. I think, like I said, having that steady form of income where you know you have a certain amount coming in every month, that is really helpful to a business. So that's the next biggest thing I want to work for in 2025. So now let's talk about the benefits I've experienced since diversifying my income. My revenue has become more stable month to month. So I'm still growing. Most months I do have a growth in revenue, which is nice, but I definitely don't have a dip in revenue. So that's been really cool to see that I am growing steadily now that I have included all of these platforms. I'm a lot less worried about algorithm changes. So like if Etsy changes the way they do things, which to be honest, I think happens more often than we would like. It doesn't stress me out as much anymore because I know, like I said before, that I still have money coming in from somewhere else. So if sales are a little bit slower on Etsy than usual, that's okay because I have money coming in other places. Another thing that was really cool that I didn't expect is that I've reached completely different customer demographics. So there's a certain type of person that shops on Etsy, and then another type of person that has found me on my website. And I have found when I've done like my own marketing, like on social media or now here on YouTube, it's bringing in different types of customers that I haven't had before. So I really love my Etsy customers and I have made some good connections on there, but I do feel like for the most part, people who buy from me on Etsy don't really know Scrappy Stitcher as a brand. They mostly just see one product they like, they buy it, and that's often the last we'll hear from them. Whereas the people who buy from my website have usually found me on social media and they're a little bit more invested in my business journey. And so they are often more likely to become repeat customers. And that's been really cool to see the difference between both platforms. But it's also really super cool now that I have people coming back to my website multiple times and placing multiple orders because they really are invested in what's going on here at Scrappy Stitcher. And the last benefit I've experienced is that my business feels a lot more sustainable and resilient long term. So because, and like I've said multiple times in this video, if something happens to one platform, that's okay because I have money coming in from other places. And that alone has given me such a peace of mind. It's amazing. And it feels like my business can last for years and years now because there's also probably multiple income streams that I haven't even tapped into yet that I'll discover in the future. And that I think is so cool. So next, let's start talking about how you can start to build multiple income streams in your business. Now, I know you're thinking, I barely have enough time to keep up with this one income stream that I have. How on earth am I going to have time to create more income streams? That just sounds like a waste of my time. Not necessarily a waste of my time, but something that you don't have time for, right? But let's talk about how to start small. So step one is to identify your most successful product that would be easy to switch over to another platform. So for example, my stickers were my best seller on Etsy. So that was a great and easy thing to transfer over to my Shopify store. Because I knew people already liked my stickers and they were a product that worked, all I had to do was transfer the listing over to my Shopify store with pretty minimal effort, to be honest. Step two is to choose just one new income stream. So let's think quality over quantity here. You don't want to try to make a bunch of new income streams at the same time because then you're not able to give each income stream the attention that it deserves at first. Because to be honest, when you're setting up a new income stream, it does take a little bit of brain power. And if you don't put the effort that needs to go into it at the beginning, it's probably not going to be as successful as it could be long term. So again, step two is to choose just one new income stream. Don't try to do a bunch at the same time. Step three, set aside specific time blocks for building this new income stream. So it is going to take a little bit of effort. It's not always something that you can just do in 5 minutes and then move on with your time. Unfortunately, small business doesn't really work like that. I wish it did sometimes. It would be really nice, but it is going to take some work. So setting aside a specific amount of time, at least once a week to begin with, would probably be really helpful to successfully start your new income stream. Step number 4 is leverage existing assets. Do not try to reinvent the wheel. That's going to make it way too hard on you and there's no point. So for example, if wholesale was your next income stream that you would like to start, don't necessarily try to just open up a wholesale page on your own website because then you have to bring in all of your customers yourself. And that is sometimes really tricky to do. So one way you could leverage an existing asset is by finding a wholesale platform to sell on. So much like Etsy, as I mentioned before, there is a wholesale platform called Faire that I sell my own products on, and they have brought customers to me. So yes, I have found my own customers to buy on my Faire platform, but Faire has brought in the majority of my customers. Or if you're wanting to start a subscription, the easiest way to start that is by starting one on Patreon or another subscription platform similar to it. So I'm going to tell you these 4 steps one more time to help you start building your multiple income streams. Step number 1, identify your most successful products that can work on a different platform. Step number 2, choose just one new income stream to focus on at first. Remember, quality over quantity here. Step number 3, set aside specific time blocks to work on your new income stream. And step number 4, leverage existing assets. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. If you're currently dependent on just one income stream in your small business, I would like to challenge you to identify just one new revenue stream you could create for yourself in the next 90 days. Start small, but start somewhere. If this video was helpful to you, it would be really helpful to me to leave a thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel. I know this is only the second video I've posted, but I do plan on posting regular content, more small business advice, more behind the scenes of Scrappy Stitcher, maybe some studio vlogs. I think it's gonna be really fun. So I would love it if you would subscribe. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.